Currency Bitcoin that's gotten a lot of press recently. So far, it has been able to function tax-free, but the Japanese government wants to change that.
Yeah, for the moment, Bitcoin isn't actually considered a currency. So any digital sales that use that form of payment have been going through tax-free. Japanese officials, though, are coming under pressure to start regulating digital currency, particularly following the collapse of Mt. Gox, the Tokyo-based exchange that filed for bankruptcy last week. Now, the government is also trying to work out how much Bitcoin is actually floating around in the world. Most estimates put it at around $7 billion. And a lot of governments have been struggling to try and deal with the rise of this new digital currency. Digital transactions are thought to be used as a possible way of laundering money or using tax havens. Now, Japan's government is saying that it may start cracking down.
If we talk in general terms, it is common sense that the finance ministry should look into how to tax something which you sell and profit from. The government is now reviewing the current law and seeing what can be done. We are also looking into the judiciary proceedings.
Now, Bitcoin is increasingly in the spotlight, but we don't know who is behind it, actually. And in fact, there's one man in California who's denying he's the founder.
Yeah, there's been sort of a mystery about who, in fact, is the founder of Bitcoin since it was launched in 2009. The name Satoshi Nakamoto is sort of well known in that world of digital currency. He is widely believed to be the man behind Bitcoin. The publication Newsweek finally tracked down this reclusive Japanese-American man living just outside of Los Angeles, and he surprised everyone on Thursday by actually denying that he has anything to do with the digital currency. He actually fled his home where dozens of reporters had camped out, some describing what followed as a car chase through the streets of Los Angeles. So no resolution yet to that particular Bitcoin mystery, some theorizing that Satoshi Nakamoto is in fact just a pseudonym for a group of coders who developed the system. We'll be following that, of course, as Bitcoin becomes more and more prevalent and indeed controversial. We're going to shift gears now and take a look at how the markets have been doing. Wall Street mostly rising on Thursday after a larger than expected drop in weekly jobless claims. Just the Nasdaq closing down a little bit there. The S&P closing at yet another record high. That is for the 50th time in the past 12 months, if you can believe that. A pretty mixed picture so far on the Asian markets. Japan's Nikkei touching a 5-year high early on in the session. All eyes on another jobs report that's due out of the U.S. later this Friday.
Now let's turn back to our top story of the day, the crisis in Ukraine, and the political turmoil is having a very real impact on business there.
Yeah, now we know that the European Union has announced a financial aid package for the government in Kiev, but it's not really clear how much that might actually help businesses. Many entrepreneurs are worried about their prospects for surviving the rest of the year, as Joe Tandy explains.
Barricades and blocked traffic, bad news for this French businessman.
Our business is based 300 meters away. This is Kiev's main thoroughfare.
Ignace Ertlet's construction consultancy has branches in Kiev and Moscow. The businessman employs around 100 staff, yet in Ukraine's current economic climate, he fears chances of escaping unscathed are slim.
We're in a sector that's very sensitive to variations in investment. If investment falls, as we fear it will this year, we're going to have to make cutbacks.
Over the last few weeks, Ertlet's employees say that private orders have dwindled.
Of course, everyone's a bit scared. I have friends who have already lost their jobs.
The European Union's offering Ukraine an €11 billion aid package. For Ertlet, it's too little, too late.
11 billion, which won't arrive for a long time and which will be spread over a long period. What will be the effect on the Ukrainian economy? I don't think it's that which will save the day.
With the economy on the brink of collapse, Kiev will have to accept painful reforms before Ukrainians get their hands on much of the European cash. Meanwhile, the country's entrepreneurs fear a backlash from Moscow and the prospect of Russian sanctions on Ukrainian businesses.
That's the end of Business News with Kate Moody, but she'll be back for more in just a few minutes, so stay with us. Now it's time for a tour of the day's hotspots